Ever.
But
See what I said?
no, thank goodness. I heard you talk about The Walking Dead before the show and how much you like Negan's entrance, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Thank
don't
goodness.
ever cut me off when I'm talking.
I'll do that anytime. And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's a snack pack, everyone. It's Gerald Glasser coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcast. This week's episode on Friday that I will drop, it's the state of pro wrestling with John Orlando from the PVD cast and myself talking about what's going on for the summer for AEW, WWE, and more. So go ahead and check it out. Or if you want to go ahead and get a sneak peek, go ahead and check out the Pop Culture Cosmos on YouTube, and you'll watch it right there. Otherwise, it's going to hit radio stations and podcast outlets worldwide on Friday. Also, as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Sean plus Lardieri's from the Domination Sports Nation, they discuss the winners and losers of the NFL draft. It's up for you right now on Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Plus, also as well, Joe Soros here. He is Oxide247 at LakersBall.com. You can hear the moaning and groaning and crying and all that other good stuff that they're talking about how the Lakers need to make changes. And you can go ahead and weigh in yourself at LakersBall.com. Plus, he has a company he's been working hard at, and you got to support today. If you live in the SoCal area and you need a new lawn, head on over to Simblades. Simblades.com. Also, as well, of course, our good friend John Costa. Hopefully he's doing well. I know he's still got daddy life, very busy for him indeed. Plus, also check out what he does with his two channels, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. Stone Hansen was on yesterday. He was talking a lot of good things about Lakers, and I know that still what he says is always controversial with Laker fans because he wants to make major changes. I'll just say I kind of lean in his direction, but maybe that as it may, be that as it may, you can go ahead and see his great thoughts on the NBA draft. He had, I think, Khalil Ware is the latest prospect he has available for you to go ahead and check out his thoughts on at report_court on Twitter. Plus also our good friends, Empire Jeff TV, Lakers in 5, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights, also as well, John McCallion channel. Support all these great channels. And we, speaking of which, are almost at 1,600 subscribers strong. You can make that happen.
Can someone put the Oscar song when they're taking the speech?
What are you talking about?
What's the song that they play when the speech is going on too long?
Usually whatever theme is whatever movie won. What does that have to do with what we're talking about? I'm trying to do the picture.
I think you missed that one.
I think everybody missed that one.
No, I think you did.
I think you did.
Sean knows. Where's that song? Hold on. I'll get it. Go ahead. Keep doing your thing.
I kick him off here. Anyways, please subscribe today to get the latest notification. I'm doing the hard pitch, man. Never mess me up on the hard pitch because it's probably one of the few times people actually listen and actually are interested in liking and subscribing to a show is when you first mention it to them right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. So please do so today, despite what Joe says.
That's correct, Gerald.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Magic Man. So on today's show, I thought we'd go ahead and discuss some of the things that are going on with the Lakers, which always seems to center around LeBron James, the master of drama that he is, giving his non-committal answer as he left for his exit interview after Monday's game, and because they just wanted to get out of town and get out of town fast, he decided he wanted to go ahead and spend his time with his family. I can respect that before he heads over to Paris for the Olympics and all that. But the speculation on his future, both whether we should keep him or whether he wants to stay, is now very much up in the air. If you go ahead and check around, you see thoughts from everybody from what Joe says as far as what we should do or what he should do to other places, entities. I hear national shows, national podcasts talking about, was this the last game for LeBron James? And then you have an article that I read earlier today on Yahoo Sports from Ben Rohrbach, who suggests that, if the Lakers and LeBron James still want each other. I can tell you, as Ramona Shelburne, one of Joe's favorites, talked about today, she reiterated something I said and have been saying about when he was taking a game off for rest about a couple months ago, and he sat there and had Jeannie on one arm and Linda Rambus on the other, that this is a guy who has it all under control. But is it in the best decision or the best, I guess, future for the Lakers to retain his services, to try to retain his services? And is it in LeBron's best interest as well? We'll discuss that on today's show. But here today to start off that mix, a good man indeed, guy who didn't try to interrupt my intro. It is, of course, the man from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to go ahead and watch the Golden Knights choke. I mean, stop. Yeah, shut up, Joe. Magic Man, Sean Grice. Magic Man, great to have you here. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this. Joe's, I'm not so sure, but we'll go ahead and ask anyways. If I get a copyright on this, man, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bust your chops. But anyways, Magic Man, Sean Grice, want to hear your thoughts. LeBron James. First off, my friend, I think we spoke about it a lot over the past couple of days, but it bears repeating because we're going to do a lot of repeating over the next few weeks and months because we got a lot of time to fill. LeBron James has it fully under control for the future. Whatever you think, whether you think he should sign for less, whether you think he should sign an extension, whether you think he should pick up the final year of his contract, or whether you think whether you want him to go elsewhere. By the way, you cannot trade LeBron. Let's just any of the trade LeBrons, unless he picks up that final year of the contract, there's no other option unless he asks for a sign and trade. I guess that's the only way he could really do it outside of that. But your thoughts, my friend, on the LeBron James conundrum as it's going to appear. How important is it for the Lakers to retain his services? Let's start off with that.
Okay, Gerald. The Lakers just got rinsed in a 5-game series where they led almost 160 minutes out of the 240 that you played. Okay, so that means that for 2/3 of that series, you had the lead and you still lost. Now,
we can get the job done.
Even with the deficiency in talent, you still had LeBron and AD. I wouldn't say they were 100%. Nobody is at this point in time, but let's just say they were at 90, Gerald. That was still a 5-game rinsing. And we saw it last year. You got swept. You got 1 game this year. Not for 60 plus million.
Because again, Magic Man, you saw what I saw. And, you have, like I said, Ramona Shelburne. That means the national media, to some extent saw what I saw.
Yes.
And to see that individual, LeBron James, having full control on.
Yes.
So let's just say the odds are that LeBron will probably opt out of the final year of his contract. The odds say that he will probably figure out how long he's going to play, and that's it. He'll probably say whatever contract he signs next will probably be his last one.
Oh yeah, but before
it most likely will be with the Lakers. Do you think?
Well, I do think that.
I'd say it's 75-25 right now.
Let's be honest here, Gerald. He's going to put on a tease a little bit here. He's going to tease. That's what he does. So I think he's going to do a little flirting with the Knicks, and probably a mystery team. But yeah, I think eventually the the two houses will merge again, and the buses and James will get married again for another couple years, and I think it's going to be to the detriment of the cap and ultimately to what we need to do as far as building a cohesive championship team. Because I mean, to be perfectly honest, I vehemently and vociferously disagree with the national media and local media and most of the fans when I say, and if you replace Darvin Ham with a tuna sandwich, you might get a little bit better, but you're not a championship contender. You need a new coach. You need some sandpaper in your front court beside AD. You finally need to address that. And, we'll get into it in detail as the months go on, Gerald. But if you're not going to address it in the draft, there's really only one guy in free agency who you could put beside LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the front court and feel comfortable about where they're going. But I digress. You need better guard depth. Like, and there's really only a couple guys available this summer. So you need to find some kind of financial flexibility, and that flexibility likely will not come from negotiating with LeBron James and Rich Paul. LeBron, for all his positive attributes, and he likes to tease a lot of folks by claiming that he's about championships, and at this point in time I think it's just about the money, Gerald. It's about the money and the prestige and being comfortably numb in LA, building a new home, having a production company, and he's pretty much, like you said, Gerald, he's almost out the door as far as his NBA's career is concerned. And normally, Gerald, you know it and I know it. When you're thinking about a new career path, you're really not focused on your current job. It's like 50-50 at best. You're thinking about your current job, but you're really thinking about the future as well. So I think it's going to be a bold move. I think in all fairness, it's also going to be short sighted by Jeannie Buss, but this is the decisions she makes. I think signing LeBron James is necessary, just not at the price that he's eventually going to get.
So you're telling me, and before I hand it over to Joe, you're telling me he talks all this great game about winning, blah blah blah, wants to win, blah 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 blah, but he doesn't want to do what it takes to win, like cutting his salary in half or less, et cetera, et cetera. Because it's not like he's not made over $1 billion, in total earnings. Oh wait, he has.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you're just telling me it's kind of contradictory from what he's going to most likely do during the summer, what he's projected to do during the summer, to what he actually will tell you what he wants in reality.
Yeah, it's a very different situation than say Jordan with the Wizards. He knew they weren't going to win. He was there for a reason. He was there to make sure that the ticket gate was 100%, that they were selling a lot of merch, and he was keeping them viable, uh, at least for the short term. But he understood his role, Gerald, and he understood what his job was. And he didn't talk a big game about, taking the Wizards all the way to the Eastern Conference Final or making finals appearances. He knew what he was at that point in time. And I'm and I don't mean to use Michael as an example again because I know that they're often juxtaposed against one another. But all I'm saying is that for all his talk, your analysis of what I was saying is correct. I think he's just about the bank right now.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is a snack pack. It is Magic Man Sean Grice with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Any chance PG leaves the Clippers, JSJ? I think that's a very good chance. He has not accepted a extension yet for the Clippers. And remember, Kawhi got less than the max. And I'm not sure PG will sign for less than the max. So it creates an interesting story for the Clippers. And dude, if they want to retain him, there's going to be, I heard Philadelphia and Orlando already as teams that he could possibly go to for more cash. So we'll see. But also here today, a good man indeed. He does drive me nuts at times, but he is, of course, the man behind Oxide T47 at LakersBall.com. So you look like, did you just have some like bad tequila, or maybe a taco went down wrong or something? You just
it was your comment.
Well, it's the truth. It is Joe Soro. Joe, great to have you here, my friend. The LeBron, again, the thing that irritates you seemingly the most, outside of Sean and I, is when LeBron...
No. Sean's fine. You.
Outside of Sean and I, is when LeBron makes those backhanded compliments. Those compliments when he says one thing and means another. And if that's the case, Joe, you, among many others, you see right through the tea leaves. You see what most prognosticators are going to see, that he's going to opt out and sign a full max 3 years because he has that control and that much sway over the organization. It's not in our best interest that he does that. But then again, we just don't have a whole lot of options to choose from if he does decide to stay or leave, Joe.
No, there isn't. There isn't, unless there's someone waiting in the wings that could replace him. Unfortunately, Luka's not leaving Dallas anytime soon. The likelihood is LeBron is coming back. The question will be, thank God he left. The question now is, will he take less? Because if he does take less, that will give some flexibility to the Lakers so that they can not have to fight these aprons. And and if Jeannie is a penny pincher, which we've gotten a lot of indication that she is, are they just going to play with what they have and throw a couple of players in there, or are they going to go after players that would be an asset to this team, especially when LeBron and AD are not available either during parts of the game or during a game in itself? These are all questions that are predicated on who's going to be the leader of this team, and I'm talking about the coach. Now, I'm getting exhausted talking about Darvin Ham, and if I can be honest. So I'm going to wait for the Darvin Ham discussions to get back to our discussions once he's gone, because I do believe he will be gone. In the meantime, the Lakers have to cross their fingers and hope that they can keep their pick here this year. If for anything, at least an asset. Even in a weak draft, you can't sit there and go, well, it's a weak draft, I'm not going to draft anybody. No, you're going to draft somebody or you're going to trade that pick, and there is value at the 17th pick. That will kind of be the beginning of this. And then once the playoffs play out, we're going to get a chance to feel what maybe valuable player might be like. Look, I'm done here. Like Paul George, will someone in Boston say, look, this isn't going to work? If they don't make it, Minnesota, I think, will stay intact, even though I did say that Karl Anthony Towns might be the next big superstar to leave. And that's still possible if, let's say, Minnesota flames out badly, either in the next round or later, maybe in the Western Conference Finals, let's say. Oklahoma City, I don't see them doing any changes. I think they're going to roll with what they have, maybe add a couple of players here and there, nothing big. I think they have their team pretty much set. Philadelphia, definitely, but I don't see Embiid going anywhere either. The Lakers are going to have to get that perfect player for this team, and they got to get the right coach. Whatever they do in and around that is going to be secondary. They have to get the right coach, and they have to get someone that would be able to cover AD and LeBron when they sit, should they sit at the same time as well. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I do believe that this summer there is going to be some big name movement because it's been 2 years that we haven't seen anything, at least with any kind of excitement. And that's kind of where they're at. That's kind of where I see it at this point.
So Magic Man, again, I put the odds around 75-25 that LeBron stays. And that LeBron will probably sign whatever his last contract will finalize being, but it will be his last contract. I'm pretty sure that. I'm not sure. I don't think he'll play till he's 45 or whatnot. He looks like a player who's already maybe a half foot out the door already, Magic, you could say. He just, the way he talks, if you tried to read through the tea leaves and you try to read LeBron, I know that's not exactly the wisest thing to do because he usually tries to throw people one way when he talks about the other, but kind of looks like he's heading out the door himself. So with that being the case, is there the possibility that he might look elsewhere? I mean, the talk of what happened during the trade deadline with Golden State and how they approached LeBron on that, possibility of joining them up in Northern California with the Splash Brothers and all that. Is there that possibility? I'm not saying Golden State per se, but is there that possibility? I mean, Sports Baby sent me an Instagram on how, let the trade speculation begins. And someone who went to I forgot who it was, some fake Stephen A. Smith Twitter handle had like 4 players and 2 draft picks for Kevin Durant. So let's just make our team older. Why don't we? Absolutely. Worked the first time. But your thoughts on if LeBron James may entertain thoughts of going somewhere else? You talked about how he has so much here in California, Southern California with the studio and all that. But what if, there's a team or two during that period of time where he can negotiate for a new contract, tries to lure him elsewhere to another team?
It's a possibility, Gerald. So if we go by your numbers, 25% chance he's out the door.
Mm-hmm. Because there is a period of time where he has to opt out. He has to say he opts out of the final year, and then he can go ahead and negotiate a new contract.
So at this point, his own options are limited as well, Gerald. Mm-hmm. So if he does opt out, what's he opting out for? And why is he leaving? Is
it just for more money, or
is it for more money? Is it to actually play with Bronny? Although we've heard reports that LeBron has kind of made his peace with the understanding that it's likely Bronny isn't an NBA caliber player, and he's taken the idea out of his mind that they're going to be teammates. Is it about going to a place he's known back home? Because Cleveland's not really an option. The Cavs aren't ready to win, and LeBron wouldn't accelerate or accentuate their chances of winning in the Eastern Conference.
What about a team like the Knicks?
The Knicks are an option. Yes, they are.
Especially if they get rid of Randall.
However, I made this comment to Joe. I think the Knicks would end up mellowing themselves again if they did acquire LeBron James, because it would have to result in them basically gutting their depth once again and relying on a 40-year-old LeBron James, very good Jalen Brunson, and possibly a third star or someone else to try and vault the Knicks into contention. And again, I don't think that would be very realistic, Gerald. But LeBron could go to New York for the money and the acclaim. However, in 2010, when he became a free agent, we all remember the Knicks photo on Slam magazine. It was the Knicks, the Heat, and the Bulls, and obviously we know he wasn't going to sign with the Bulls. It was obvious that although there was chatter about the Knicks, there's so much heat on him at that point in time, and it was very unlikely that he was going to sign with the Knicks and put that kind of pressure on him, especially if he was going at it by himself. Because there was no way Dwayne Wade was leaving Miami, and he certainly wasn't going to leave Miami for Cleveland. He said he might have left for New York, but that was really a crapshoot, Gerald. So at this point in time, if he went to New York, there wouldn't be really much pressure on him, other than the scuttlebutt, like diehard Knicks fans like Stephen A. Smith, who didn't even know that Quentin Grimes was traded to the Detroit Pistons, and Isaiah Hartenstein was actually starting for them and not coming off the bench. That's who would be like swooning over LeBron signing with the Knicks. So I don't see that one. Other than us, the only other realistic option I could see, Gerald, is if LeBron wanted to play with Luca in Dallas. But again, that that business arrangement with somebody like Mark Cuban, I just think that eventually they would just fight like cats and dogs. I don't think that would be a long term relationship either. So his options are really limited. It's really the Lakers, or like you said, Golden State, possibly some other mystery team. Like if you wanted to go to Philly and play with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, if they sign Paul George outright because Philly has so much cap space this summer, if he takes a discount and goes somewhere like there, that might be an option. But again, they're so limited. I don't think he's got good options other than Los Angeles, where he can make the most money, pretend like he's trying to win or wants to win, and has his cake and eats it too. And I think that's the kind of the rub here, Gerald, is that every free agency period that LeBron has been in, Gerald, he's gotten his cake and eaten it too.
And doesn't he
He's
look
the
like there when he sat with LeBron, when LeBron sat with Jeannie and
like the
Linda?
cat, yeah,
Yeah,
like the cat who ate the canary. Yep.
certainly was giving that Cheshire cat grin there for you. But Joe, let me ask you this. Rodell says LeBron is not good enough to win chips anymore. Too many lapses on defense. Lakers will be a mid-team fighting for the play-in again next year. Stuck. Well, I'm going to add this on there. Stuck in NBA purgatory. So, with that in mind, Joe, do you concur with Rodell on that, or do you think LeBron still can give you a season good enough to, along with other help, of course, get you to the promised land?
One more player that can put some fear in a team that you're playing, no matter who it is, and a extremely good coach. Yes, health has to play a factor in there as well. LeBron and AD were healthy this year. The reason why they didn't succeed in the end were because of it was just a terribly fractured team in the sense of their identity, their ability to focus, their ability to close out their massive deficiencies. They just could not learn how to offensive rebound. There was a lack of size on the team, which falls on the hands of or the feet of Rob Pelinka. He didn't value that. Uh, I think in the end, everyone played up to their capabilities, even guys like Jackson Hayes and Torian Prince, those guys are minimum type players. They played to their talents. And I like to look at it as if your team is playing up to their talents and you have two stars and two good players in Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell, and then you have let's say a C player like Rui. Sometimes he plays like a C plus, B minus, but overall a C player. I would like to think that they should have been able to, especially with how healthy they were. I would like to think that this team should have won 50 plus games. They were capable of it, but there was a lack of just communication and lack of discipline on the team that a coach should be able to implement on his team. And it wasn't. It wasn't because Darvin Ham is not a good communicator. He doesn't know how to teach basketball the correct way. I don't know if he really understands the intricacies of the game. I don't really know if he knows spacing very well in terms of coaching. Maybe he might know it as a player. Maybe he tried to do it, but regardless if he tried or not, or knew what he was doing or didn't know what he was doing, he could not get his guys to do it. There was way too much standing around, and we saw that for 89 games. I'd say 80 of those games we saw at least once or twice during a game where guys are just standing around. And it's not standing around in the middle of January where you're tired from a 5-game, 6-game road trip. It was lack of focus. And what that did down the road is it put you in a position to get into the playoffs and play the champs at the wrong time. Maybe it would have been better to play them in the second round or a third round. You never know that until you play the series. We try to talk ourselves into thinking, well, we might as well play them now and see if we can get them out now. What the reality is, after we saw the series, that was the wrong way to think. We probably would have been better playing them in the Western Conference Finals, where Jamal Murray has 2 series under his belt where he might not be as healthy, and maybe these guys wear out a little bit more towards the end. We're never going to know what's going on there, but the most important thing at this point right now is this organization needs to look themselves in the mirror and really understand what needs to get done. And all this talk about LeBron not coming back. I don't care how much money LeBron has. He could take a pay cut. That's a possibility. But he is not walking away from $130 to $160 million. And there isn't a damn team out there that's going to pay him, his son, his great-great-grandson in 50 years that kind of money anyway. It's just not going to happen. Not Dallas, not New York, not Philly. Maybe Orlando if they want to sell tickets, but he ain't going to Orlando. He ain't going to Charlotte. Not for his son, not for his mammy, not for anybody. He's in LA, and he's going to retire a Laker unless the Lakers said, we want you out of here. We don't want to sign you. Opt out and get the hell out of here. They'd have to say it just like that. But they're not going to do that. They're going to go hold each other's hands, put their heads on their shoulders, and sing lullabies to each other and be all friends. You see, and this is what I'm talking about. The business of sports is still different than just business. It's easy to just go fire somebody or let a bunch of guys go and say, well, that's business. You can't really do that in sports because there's a talent that's never been there, or very few that have that talent that you're obligated to keep. Otherwise, you go from here to here very quickly, especially in the NBA.
I know you mentioned earlier about the penny pinching. You said that Jeannie does, and she has been accused of it from time to time, but they can't even do that right, Joe, because if they weren't going to trade for DeJounte Murray, all they had to make is one minor trade of one of the minimum players, and that would have saved Jeannie what I say or before $12 or $13 million. I think it would have gotten her a $12-13 million check for just trading a $2.5 million player. I think that's how close it was.
So maybe she's not a penny pincher, or she doesn't know what she's doing. It's one of those two. Maybe they thought Christian Wood would be fine towards the end, they were wrong, and that's fine.
And it wouldn't have made a difference either for the record and however far we got in the playoffs.
And it's everything is easy after the fact. Everything is easy. So we're here to analyze, predict, hope. But deep down, did we really think they were going to beat Denver? No.
No, we've been saying it all year. It's not like it's a
and
news
here's the other
flash.
thing. I'm gonna make everyone's head ease up a little bit. If they had played Minnesota, they probably would have gotten beaten by Minnesota, especially with the way Anthony Edwards has been playing. Do you agree?
Oh, I actually think they're leading to be my favorite in the Western Conference.
I wouldn't go that far yet. We'll wait to see
they played like they did against Phoenix, especially game 3.
Phoenix is a disaster, so
they will beat Denver if they play.
What I was saying is, if Anthony Edwards had played, because he hasn't necessarily played like that against the Lakers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say different, but if he plays like he did in that last game, yeah.
So we're gonna, again, this is a team that's led by Devin Booker, not Kevin Durant. This is Devin Booker's team, and Devin Booker is known to quit. He is known for his pouting and his quitting.
Just ask Kylie Jenner.
So would that key ingredient for you, Joe, and Sean too, please interject, be as what we're seeing already, the trade rumors? As Sports Baby sent it to me on Instagram earlier. We're seeing it all the time now. Kevin Durant heading over to LA. That's the one we're hearing a lot now in the last 40.
No, I'm not talking about that.
I just thought you would like Team Geriatric again. It worked so well for us before.
That Tinkerbell ain't coming to LA. You nuts? He already left. He left Golden State because his feelings were hurt.
Sorry, Turbo.
No, come on, guys, get serious here. What are you going to tell me next? Bronny's going to get picked 3rd overall in the draft?
I think, Sean, let me bring you back in here, Sean.
We need somebody with balls on this team, okay? Somebody that has some intestinal fortitude. We don't need a crybaby, whining, Twitter happy jackass. Like, Kevin Durant's act is done.
Plus, he's 36, Joe.
Someone needs to tell him, too. Like, dude, get out your head already. What is your problem? Seriously, what is that guy's problem? You created this. No one told you to leave Oklahoma City. And if you really wanted to not play with Russell Westbrook, you could have went up to management and said, we got to get rid of this guy. I can't play with him. They would have got rid of him.
I got to be honest, Gerald, just on GP, and for those out there who don't know what GP means, it's general principle.
Mm-hmm.
Just off general principle, the fact that he blew us off publicly
before, yes,
in the Hamptons before he signed with the Golden State Warriors, he can take a hike.
Well, you were pretty bad then.
Yeah, we were, but Gerald, Gerald, it's a legacy franchise.
I know,
but
I'm getting you both.
Gerald, but LaMarcus Aldridge took 2 meetings with us after we botched the first one.
That's true.
He actually let us have a second meeting because at least that man understands tradition and the game of basketball, and you don't snub your nose at a franchise like that. I understand where Joe's coming from, and by the way, like 95% of basketball fans, both old heads and new heads, feel the same way about KD that Joe does.
Well, let's just say this. You would have a front line, and Magic, I don't know if you still have something on your lip. Just wanted to let you know. You just have a front line of a 30 guy that's turning 32, a guy that's turning 37, and a guy that's turning 40. Didn't we try this before with an old team? And that didn't work out so well the last time around, did it?
No, it didn't. And like you said, Gerald, he's turning 37.
He's 36 right now.
Well, he's turning 37 next year, due for a contract extension. At 60 million. So that would mean 40-year-old LeBron making over 60, KD 37 likely
Over 50.
Yeah, and plus his extension kicks in when he's 38. Gonna make sure that's gonna happen, Gerald. The over 38 rule that Chris Paul put in, you could bet your ass Kevin Durant is going to make sure that he's in on that.
What the hell was that?
What the hell is that?
How the hell did
You
you do
had
that?
fireworks going off as you said that.
That happened.
It was such a hot take that you had the fireworks going off on there.
I
let's do
had
that.
it yesterday.
Let's forget about let's just forget about it. Let's just go, Joe and Sean.
This was the best
Chris
shooting
Paul,
Laker team in years,
Mhm.
right?
I think 7th or 8th was what they
Okay,
finished.
this is why I'm saying, contrary to what Stone is saying, and Stone has some validity in his direction as well, but I can't. I'm going off of what's likely going to happen, no matter what we want or don't want. They're bringing back LeBron, so we already know that's happening. How much, we don't know yet. That's the part we're going to find out. But this is why I don't want to mess with that. This is why I'm tired of the constant revamping and trading everybody except a couple people. I'm done with it. Keep everyone. Bring back D'Lo. You have Rui under contract. You have Austin under contract. If you want to bring back Torian Prince for a couple mil, cool. If you, I wouldn't bring back Jackson Hayes. Get another center, please. Again, Jackson Hayes played better than I thought he would. He had a good year in terms of him, but the Lakers need somebody else that can really, really, really back up AD or at least play alongside him.
His dad was a better tight end for your Steelers than his son was a center for the Lakers.
Turbo,
he made more money than his dad, though.
Turbo, you're killing me, man. You said you don't want the old Chris Paul, but you wanted the old Kevin Durant. Why don't we just get Chris Paul? Why don't we just get Klay Thompson? Why don't we just get KD to join AD? Just make it an all over 30 all-star team from 2018. How about that?
No.
We just focus on what you need right now. Right now, what you need, unless there's a deal to be made.
We could be sponsored by Ben Gay. Okay.
Even that one got Joe.
Yes.
I could have taken that 10 different directions.
Yes, you could have.
Trying to stay on topic.
Okay.
There is
Ben Gay.
There is. It's a better offseason.
It's a joke. It's a joke, sports babe.
Guys, come on. Like me and Gerald are South Park aficionados. It's a joke. It's a joke. Look it up on YouTube. It's a joke, guys.
We were so mad. We were mad on this show, Sean, and Joe, I think, was here for a part of the ways too, when they went geriatric the last time around. Yeah.
It's
that
terrible.
didn't work
It's a
out.
terrible. It's a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea. The Lakers did that, Gerald, and you saw what the Suns did with it this year. Basically, you're maxing out at like 43, 45 wins at best, and at worst, you could end up with like a 33 and 49 record or something god awful like that. No, can't. Like Joe said, you have to find the right ingredients to make sure that the meal is digestible, that you can actually have something to work with that tastes good. What we saw tasted like chicken. Everything tastes like chicken, but it was burnt chicken this year. Who burns chicken? My dad and Darvin Ham. That's who. You don't burn chicken.
I think this is the question of the day, guys. What's more likely to happen? Cool Bro having a real life girlfriend or LeBron leaving the Lakers?
Oh. Oof.
I'm saying LeBron leaving the Lakers.
LeBron leaving the Lakers.
What's a better assumption, that Cool Bro is a 15-year-old or some weird old dude who's acting like a 15-year-old? I'm gonna say a weird old dude that's acting like a 15-year-old.
I'm starting to lean towards what you're thinking. There,
yeah, I'm starting to smell a rat.
Rodell, he is a terrible defensive player. He's supposed to be a rim protector. He does not protect the rim. I don't know why you did not see that all year long. It's very apparent that How many missed defensive assignments do you want out of a player? It's just amazing. He has that skill that there's a reason why he no longer plays in New Orleans.
There's also a factor in there that, again, when you don't have a system, when you don't have a coherent philosophy and identity, this gets magnified even more.
Well, Sandman, you're probably going to get Wood because Wood has the option to pick up his contract.
Okay, guys, you're not paying attention. Forget about Wood. Okay, forget about all these guys are not going to be playing next year.
The minimum players.
Okay, Wood's not coming
back. The minimum.
Well, no, Wood has Joe Wood has the option to pick up his contract, and because he did so lousy this year, he might pick up the $3 million.
Okay, let's say he comes back then, but it's going to be irrelevant. He's probably going to be 50 games into this season, and God knows what the hell will happen after that. The most important thing here is they got to solve this issue with the coach. They got to solve that problem. Then LeBron.
How do you solve a problem like Darvin Ham?
You solve it by getting rid of him and then really focusing on what coach will work to help this team win a championship next year.
When you survive the streets, but you can't survive employment on Figueroa.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He got shot in the face, but he's not going to be able to keep this job.
Yeah, look.
We keep saying that, and yet every day passes, and he's still there.
Well, the whole narrative, Gerald, is that the Lakers didn't even waited. They had to wait until the final buzzer to.
I mean, Ty Lue will be available here shortly.
Well, if he's available, you know what, Gerald? I will gladly help Darvin Ham pack. Drive him to the airport, make sure he gets on the plane, and I'll call the airline in Milwaukee or Detroit or wherever it is and make sure that it landed and he's safe and sound so that Ty Lue can be introduced as the new head coach.
And that right there is what I'm hoping that the Lakers are waiting for.
Because obviously it's a hot stove, Gerald. That
you think they'll offer more than a 2-year contract this time?
If he indeed gets fired by the Clippers, if they lose the next game, they've lost tonight. They lose this next game and they're out.
In Dallas,
and he gets fired. You fired Darvin and you call Ty Lue a second after you fire Darvin Ham
and give him what he wants. No negotiation. Just give him what he wants.
What do you want?
I mean, he has the Lakers nepotism right there, being that he played for the Lakers, since that seems to always be a through byline.
Everyone's played for the Lakers.
Well, not only that, Gerald. He also he would have authority over personnel on the court because he would be able to cajole, convince Rob Pelinka to bring in players that he wants, rather than, let's face it, Darvin Ham and Frank Vogel, Gerald, who were more passive aggressive when it came to the roster additions, and they pacified Pelinka for the most part, especially Vogel in that the old timer version of our team. And Ham with the Russell Westbrook situation, Ty Lue wouldn't pacify strong feelings about how to assemble a strong roster.
And you got to assume at some point he's gotten tired of this Kawhi act. Where he just continually, he gets injured, but then you don't know the severity of the injury because Kawhi has his own, I guess people that attends to him, and he helicopters in and out. You never know what you're going to get for supposedly the guy that's your best player. And then you've realized in some of the games already in the series, as Frank will attest to, Joe, they've actually played better without Kawhi than with them, which should frustrate you even more if you're Ty Lue.
Kawhi's leg is dead, guys. It's nothing he could. I don't think Kawhi wants to not play.
Once you can't control inflammatory problems, it's over. It's
He's
over.
done, guys. He's done. There's nothing. It's not anyone's fault. Kawhi's playing in the Olympics too. It's over. It's over. It's over, and it's
Oh,
done.
here's a good question, Gerald. Who plays more in the Olympics, LeBron or Kawhi?
LeBron.
LeBron.
By
I'd
what,
say
about
LeBron.
2.5 minutes?
Kawhi is going to be Larry Bird in '92. He'll play very, very little. He's there for the support. He's there for the next dream team kind of thing, because everyone seems to be invested in this one.
Cool, bro. We are all secretly AI, just to let you know.
I'm not.
There you go.
I'm not artificial. I'm the real deal.
See, there you go.
I have an insulin pump. I'm technically a cyborg.
All right. And on that note, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro, Magic Man Sean Grice, and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. Before we head out, you can also discuss LeBron a little bit more, but I thought I'd show you this. Let me go ahead and I'll pop it on the screen here and share it with you guys right here. There you go. One of my more favored Lakers Twitter handles is Lake Show Yo, who always has a sense of humor about things. And he's, you see right there on the screen coming up here what his thoughts are if, on a scale of 1 to 10, how upset he would be if they're not with the Lakers next year. So I'm going to bring the question to you guys. Now, you notice he didn't say LeBron and AD right there. He didn't really give a answer for that because he assumes they're going to be back. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that both are going to be back. Even whether or not they should be, again, depends on who you talk to. When it comes right down to it, though, I'm going to start with you, Joe. How upset would you be if LeBron, on a scale of 1 to 10, was not with the Lakers next year? Sean's saying 5.
7.
7? Okay. I'd say 5 for me as well. I'd probably say 5. AD.
9.
I'd say 8 for me. Sean saying 10. Were you saying 9? 10?
I was saying 9.
9?
I was saying 9, yeah.
Okay. Darvin Ham, he has as a -2. I would say that number's too high. I would probably go -19 for me. What do you guys say?
Well, it says scale for 1 to 10, so 1.
I know he was just joking on that Darvin Ham. Probably say I'm 0. Would not be upset at all. 1 or
Pay
1.
attention to what you read, folks.
1.
-18, 11.
There you go. Sean, from a scale of 1 to 10. So I'm saying 1 then.
A scale of 1 to 10? Well, if it's 1 to 10, 1.
Okay, fair enough. D'Lo.
4.
I would probably go with 4. I think that's good. I wouldn't be too upset if he leaves. I would be better. I would hope that if he leaves, you do a sign and trade deal and get some compensation back. But Magic Man, what for you, my friend?
350.
350.
Tree.
350. 350. Okay.
Tree.
350. Vando.
3 o'clock.
How upset would you be if they're not with the Lakers next year? I would probably say my upset level would be about a 2 because I just don't think he's a great value for this team. 2
4 and a half.
4.5. You're 4.5. I'll give it a 3. I'll move up to 3. Joe, what is your evaluation on Vando? How upset would you be if Vando left?
2.
Yeah, see, I don't think we would be upset, Vando, because he is so much of a minus on the offensive scale. It's hard. Like Sean, you always say it's 4 on 5. You always say it during playback. It's 4 on 5. It's 4 on 5. Christian Wood, I would say a 1 for me. Sean was right on the money to start off with as far as the Christian Wood. You were not big on it at all from day one. What are your thoughts on if Christian Wood? How upset would you be?
I wouldn't be as upset as Lake Show Yo. I'll go half that too.
Okay. Joe, how upset would you be?
Who's this?
Exactly.
Wood. Christian Wood.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
I think him and Dinwiddie, I would put both at a
1.
Yeah, Dinwiddie's a 1. Thanks, Spence. Goodbye.
Rui Hashimura. Which Rui do you like? Do you like the Rui that got into the starting lineup?
4.
4? I put 5 for me.
I'm going 6.
Okay, so you were a little bit more upset if Rui would leave. Although if there's a trade made, I bet you he's the first one that's probably on it. So
correct. So I mean, if that's the case, bon voyage.
Let's put these last 4 and group them all into one. So if Reddish, Prince, Vincent, and Hayes, how upset would you be if they're not with the Lakers next year? I would be as low as 1 as I would Darvin Ham. Because I would not be upset if any of those guys are gone. They just really just do nothing for me. And they've done nothing really for this team. Your thoughts on Reddish, Prince, Vincent, and Hayes, Joe? You agree? You wouldn't care if they're gone, if they're there?
1, yeah, 1.
Same thing with you, Sean?
Actually, Gerald, I'm gonna go on a different scale. That's a -0 for me.
A -0. Okay, you've created your own number. Okay, there you go. Absolutely. So again, that just sounds like you, Joe, and myself really would love to see a makeover of the players surrounding LeBron and AD once again. I just think that's just the synopsis of what it comes to base as far as what I'm seeing.
Yeah, Gerald, it was just a bad mix of small guards, big guards, and tweeners that really couldn't tween the way we needed them to.
Okay. Jeremy said he would be upset at level 10 if Joe wasn't here, and he does his actual what he says he does if the Lakers draft Bronny James. So you'll have some upset people.
They're not drafting Bronny anyways. I'm not worried.
Okay.
I never was worried about that.
Okay.
It's all poppycock.
It's all poppycock. Okay. All right. There you go. That's un-Joe-like words. So there you go. All right. Sounds good. All right. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. So again, it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. We're just going ahead and making sure that you get your Lakers fix from what's going on here. But Joe, you still seem convinced that Darvin Ham is going out the door, and maybe they are waiting for a certain coach to become available. So you think that's the case? Or do you think they have?
If I'm the Clippers, I would not fire him, but I'm basing it off of the Clippers clipping and actually clipping him.
I don't know if he has an option. He may be.
I agree with Joe leaving. If Joe left, it would be like Mario Kart without the Mode 7 graphics.
Okay. Interesting.
It would be honestly a huge save for the Lakers because they wouldn't have to worry about finding someone. They could actually get someone that's not a burnout, not a stubborn coach, and seems to have acclimated himself in LA, where I thought maybe he wouldn't be able to. Yeah, I know it's the Clippers, but still, there was a team here that he took over that was supposed to win, and they didn't because they had players that just couldn't make it, especially their main guy. But if he comes to LA, let's say if this happens, the burden of worrying about the coach is gone because we know Lou knows how to coach. He knows how to scheme. He's yelled at LeBron before. LeBron has listened to him. And if not for Kevin Durant going to Golden State, Lou would probably be a 2 or 3 time coaching champion. I'm pretty positive of that. I believe the Cavs would have won in 17 or in 18 had Durant not gone to Golden State.
So we will leave you here in just a few minutes. And again, we will go ahead and be here as much as we can each and every time out right here at the Lakers Fast Break. We are destined to be with you as much as possible over the coming days, weeks, and months, talking about the Lakers and the NBA. But before we head in, I thought I'd put it on a little bit more cheerful note for you guys because the hilarity that ensued on the Phoenix Suns exit interview by owner Matt Ishbia, who says the house is not on fire. He has full support of what's going on in this team. He did not say whether or not they would retain Frank Vogel, but that he thinks the Suns are in a great position moving forward. So I ask you guys, we're again a step away from Phoenix, so we don't see sometimes things through jaded eyes like our friends at the formerly 805. They're now what, the Suns Jam podcast, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you reached out first, they were 805, and now they're a little different. Yeah, it was interesting. I watched after they got eliminated. That was an interesting watch, to say the least.
Matthew was hilarious.
Yes. The things that they said on that show was very funny indeed. So, again, the owner didn't give the vote of confidence for the coach, but he gave a vote of confidence for the team. So, your thoughts on the status of Phoenix? Do you think they're worse off or better off than the Los Angeles Lakers, Sean?
I think they are. Oh, if it's that question, they're worse off.
Okay.
They're worse off. Because if you don't bring Frank Vogel back, you can always promote David Fizdale, Gerald. And we saw how that worked out when he decided somebody gave him the big chair. So yeah, they're the dog in that house on fire meme. Yeah, everything's fine. We're fine.
Okay. Joe?
Matt Ishbia looks like he looks like every CEO of a gaming company. And you all know what's going on in gaming right now.
I'm not saying differently because I've been covering the industry for almost 2 decades, and Joe is not that far off.
So someone
and my
like
share
that,
of E3s, I've walked by CEOs of gaming companies that look exactly like Matt Ishbia.
Second, he opened his trap saying everything's great. The first thought too was the Leslie Nielsen scene in Naked Gun when the fireworks behind him are going off, and he's saying, everything's okay, everything's okay, nothing to see here. Matt Ishbia has a major problem. The biggest one is the crybaby Kevin Durant, and I know that sounds weird because they do have Bradley Beal on the team, but from an emotional leadership standpoint, this guy is an unmitigated disaster. Devin Booker at least is a young player. Yeah, he's whiny. Yeah, but he's in his prime. He's got value there. Bradley Beal, geez, they have no draft picks to tail into a trade for him if they were trying to do that. They have nothing.
They're in the second apron, Joe. They're in the 9th level of hell when it comes to salary.
They've already got $200 million committed for next season.
That team is dead, folks. That team would have to do a turnaround like the Minnesota Timberwolves, because the Minnesota Timberwolves got a lot of flack last year for the Gobert trade, right?
We all said it here too.
Right? And look what happened. Now, the only problem with that is I don't consider Devin Booker a Anthony Edwards type. And I don't think at this point in his career, Kevin Durant is Karl Anthony Towns. And Bradley Beal.
You can make an argument he's not even a top 10 player in the NBA, Joe. So the return on that value is not going to be there.
And Bradley Beal is gum on the bottom of Gilbert's shoe. It's not going to work. And those guys are going to, Mr. Ishbia is going to have to either work a miracle or understand that he's going to be sucking with some old dudes who are constantly injured and have hurt feelings for the next 2-3 years.
Well, I agree with these guys. I think that the Suns are worse off than the Lakers. Although, again, a lot of it rides on. I'm assuming LeBron is coming back. I think that's the safe assumption there. Whether or not you can get a full healthy season from both those guys, AD and LeBron again, that's always something in question because this is the healthiest we've ever seen AD go through an entire season, and same thing with LeBron in quite some time. So we'll see. These guys aren't getting any younger for the Lakers, but they're certainly not getting any younger for the Suns as well. And when you already have $200 million committed already, yeah, that's rough. That's really rough. And I do think though that they did get a hometown discount for Grayson Allen's contract for a guy who did lead the league in 3-point shooting. So that might make it more palpable, Sean, for a contract for D'Lo, because D'Lo, he didn't produce the way he needed to produce in that first round. But for a guy that shot 42% from behind the arc this season, it is a marketable commodity. And again, we saw where a 46% shooter only went for 17.5 million. So D'Lo might not be getting as much as he thinks.
No, I don't think so, Gerald. Not in this environment. Oh, and by the way, Gerald, they're going to have to re-sign a 30-year-old.
Yeah, they're going to have to sign Royce O'Neal. Yeah, that's something obviously they want to sign. Yes. You were saying Royce O'Neal, correct?
Yes, they're going to have to sign him to a similar contract, and he's south of 32. So this is the Expendables, the NBA version on steroids, more so than what the Lakers had in 22-23.
Yeah, so it's not going to look pretty for Phoenix. But we'll see what happens with them. But also, what we'll see continues with the Lakers. And as we get more speculation on what's going on, I already know the trades are out there. I mean, Sports Baby sent them to me. Laker Tom is already, I think he's like in his lab. It's like a mad scientist already formulating what trades can piss off Lakers fans this time around on @Laker Tom on Twitter. But we'll see what happens. Go ahead,
Mikhail Prokhorov playing with the trade machine with all his Russian buddies drinking vodka, Gerald, making Bobby Marks convince them to make all those trades.
Exactly. Again, when I tell people and they have all their trades, how about this? Like last night, it's like, okay, that's the trade you want. Look at it from their end, whoever you're trading with. Let's say would the Atlanta GM like that proposal of Gabe Vincent and Jared Vanderbilt? Oh boy, I'm sure they would love to be so excited to get those contracts, for another 2 years on one end and another 4, or is it another 3? Because he hadn't even started his extension yet on Vando. Is that correct, Sean?
No, not
so
yet.
So he's got a full 4. So yeah. Okay. All right. So you're proposing Vando and Gabe in a package to me, and I'm supposed to like that. So yeah, before you make those trades, everyone out there, please think about it from the other end of the spectrum. And before you say, is this a good trade? Is this a good trade? Ask yourself, if you're that other GM, would you think that's a good trade?
That's a good question to ask Tom.
He never thinks that. My God, he sees everything through poop. I've been trying to connect, get that guy to stop doing this for 4 or 5 years now. He's just way long gone. He's got the purple and gold shades just way on too high. That's Laker Tom though, drinking the Coke. That's why he's got the shades on all the times, because it's just, he sees everything through a purple and gold haze, and common sense just does not always apply with but we love him anyways.
Is there a really good player out there that's overpaid that a team wants to get rid of that has a large contract?
I'm thinking LaMelo Ball.
That's who I was thinking of, and he doesn't have a large contract.
I didn't say it's the greatest name in the world.
Problem is his availability.
Sleepy Charlotte, Joe. They're in deconstruction mode.
His health is the issue. The Ball family doesn't have good health.
I didn't say, but you're asking that question, Joe, and I'm thinking that's the one right off the top of my head is like overpriced, but that would provide, if everything lined up correctly, Joe, could provide a real value for us. Because if he ever gets his career on track, he could be something decent out there.
That's the
That's a lot of goods.
Yeah, but that being said, Joe, a lot of cards are going to, a lot of people are going to have to show their hands with this draft lottery too. Because if Charlotte gets the number 1 pick, they're taking Sarr. Right, Joe?
Yep.
They're taking Sarr. So that means that they're really going to go into deconstruction mode.
And he's only 23, 24.
That's it.
I mean, you guys were talking about Zach LaVine like on a daily basis, and that made me nauseous. And that guy's above 30 with bad knees. And I talked to you, and I was arguing with people on this show in the chat that were so adamant. Oh, he played 77 games last year. Did you check the previous 5 years? And sure enough, what happened? He got injured again. It's like clockwork. It's like Mike Trout. I kept telling Cool Bro for weeks, Mike Trout will get injured every single year. You can count on it. And not only that, he is a shell of what he once was before he just went out for surgery. So you see patterns and you bet on, like AD. AD played 76 games this year, Sean?
77. Yep, you're right, Joe.
What are the odds he's going to do that again next year?
Very low.
Very good.
See, again, Joe's being very, very positive. Sean is being more realistic because of what his history tells you. And as he's getting older, the chances are getting a little bit less. So, but again, LaMelo Ball, if you want to take a flyer on him, that's again, you asked me what overpaid player still you think might have a chance in the right system.
Changes do you good, Gerald. Change of scenery. Trevor Ariza had a bad injury history, and the Lakers took a flyer on him, and he played consistently, and he was durable.
But Kupchak's not there anymore to go ahead and give
Kupchak's not there, and Steve Clifford said, "I'm good. You could keep the extra year. I'm not babysitting these brats." And that's the issue right there, Joe. When you see a dysfunctional organization like that with assets, you swarm like wasps, like the Asian hornets, literally the Asian hornets. So you got to take advantage. Somebody's going to take advantage of these sleepy, hollow teams, and might as well be us.
I mean, you guys are going to hear that for the next few weeks, until, probably July, until they actually do something does happen. You're going to hear DeJounte Murray. You're going to hear Trae Young. You're going to hear still Zach LaVine. Those guys will come back from the dead. You'll hear those trade rumors once again. You're going to hear the same guys over and over. You're going to hear Kevin Durant again and again and again. You're going to hear all these names, but you just asked me on that question, Joe, and I'm just, but off the top of my head, that's what I had to answer. I didn't say it's the best option. I'm just saying it's a possibility because the fact he is still young, but you're right. He is often injured. No one can defend that.
Yeah. There's also a mentality that he has. I'm not a fan of the Ball family's aura. Their aura is very dirty to me. And I don't want that. I don't want that garbage at the Lakers. They're more concerned about tattoos and extracurricular garbage.
Well, Lonzo is.
This stuff doesn't belong with the Lakers. I want someone that's focused on playing basketball, not listening to some jackass father of theirs and looking at them like, they look dirty to me. They look trashy to me. I don't want that.
Well, actually, Joe, to be frank, and I'm Sean, LeVar Ball.
Can I be frank?
Frank's in our chat.
Sure, you can be Frank.
LeVar Ball was complaining that the Charlotte Hornets have kept him away from the team. They've kept him away from the Ball brothers. Chicago doesn't want him involved in their organization, and Charlotte's kept him away from the organization as well. So the funny thing is, this guy said that when we traded Lonzo that we would never win a title, and turns out the exact opposite happened. If you traded for LaMelo Ball, there's no way Jeannie Buss or LeBron would allow him to be near the organization again. No way.
Frank, I would not take a Randall for AD package, no matter how draft choices you gave me. Now, if you did offer me all those draft choices and you said take some players, is Hardenstein a free agent this summer, Sean?
I think he's got a option, Gerald. I'm not sure whether
he's
it's
gone.
a player,
he's gone. Yeah.
player or team, but yeah, he's got an option.
If it's a player, if it's a player, he's gone.
I think it is a player option, so I think he's gone.
If you take, I would take
OG. Sure. Yeah, OG. You want to throw OG in there? Puts a couple picks.
Give me OG, Mitchell Robinson, and McBride, and 3 or 4 picks, and we'll talk.
I'm with Gerald. That's a conversation. Yeah,
that's a conversation. I didn't say I would. Yes, I just said it's at least a gets you in the door type deal. But I would not take Randall back.
Not straight up. Not a 1-for-1. If
the Knicks are playing better without Randall than with Randall, doesn't that tell you enough?
Yes, and I wouldn't trade AD at this point anyway, Gerald. Despite what LeBron's machinations will be one way or the other, if he wants to stay, if he wants to go, I would not trade AD at this point in time.
I don't understand this discussion about, there's been way too
much.
No,
Frank just suggested, would we take an AD for Randall trade?
Yeah.
Hell no.
It's just a conversation starter.
Because they have a whole bunch of picks. That's why.
No. What are picks going to be? What do they mean? Didn't we do this already? Picks?
I'm just,
we have
he asked the question.
We have 3 second-round picks and a 7th overall pick. Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball. You want to risk your next 10 years on that? No.
What about Lauri Markkanen? JSJ said hit up the Jazz for an AD trade, and I know a lot of people yesterday were starting to fall in love with Lauri Markkanen.
I love Markkanen too. I just not enough to trade AD. Unless Utah wants to throw in an unprotected first.
Because he will be on the market. I know OKC, and there's going to be a couple other teams that are going to be after him.
That seems like a perfect fit, honestly. It seems like he's destined to go to the Thunder.
And they can throw more picks than anyone. Anyone literally can do.
Yeah, I think it's likely ends up there or someplace like Gerald, New Orleans or Toronto. Some team that can afford the contract extension and be willing to give up something to the Jazz.
Because New Orleans, if you heard their GM, he talked about needing some change, and definitely New Orleans needs some change because they can't count on Zion. It's clear that he is a lot like LaMelo Ball. Not able to be counted on with his health because it's just continuously a problem. So they're going to have to make some changes on that team. They gave that big fat contract to McCollum, who, it's just at this age, he's just not worth it. And Ingram, he's a mid-range jump shooter. How much do you value a mid-range jump shooter?
Not much. Yeah. Not much. Especially CJ McCollum. Like, all due respect, he's had one brilliant playoff game.
Turbo, we were answering the question by Frank. He asked us, would we take that deal between AD and Randall? We were just expounding on it. Don't worry.
Just goes to show you, he bails out the Portland Trailblazers in a Game 7 and ends up with bloated contract, Gerald.
Yes. I don't think AD is going anywhere. They signed him to I don't want to say team-friendly contract, but it was a contract that if he had held off, Joe, and had this year and been waiting for a contract,
We'd
to
be paying
sign in the
for it.
summer,
Yeah, we'd
we'd be
paying
paying more.
for.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah,
We
calm
would.
down, guys. We're not trading AD. But again, he is on a contract that's a lot better. So who knows? There may be a team that goes. We did not think LeBron would be called upon during the trade deadline for a trade. You never know. A team may just say, you know what? We're just going to ask. Doesn't hurt to ask. We know the answer is probably no, but doesn't hurt to ask. So
Nope. Nope. Not at all. Not at all. It's been, honestly, Gerald, I think everybody's up for grabs except for AD at this point. Rui, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt. I think if you can make your team better, they're all up for grabs.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he was our best player last year, Sports Baby. But yeah, you look at it one side, he has played the most games. So Joe is on that one side as far as he's going to play similar to what he played this year. Sean may be looking more at statistics that he does not stay always as healthy as he did this season. So we'll see. Again,
anyone who pays Brandon Ingram $40 million a year should never run an organization.
He is eligible for it. Frank pointed that out.
That's a no for me, dog.
Well, JSJ, a lot about its timing. A lot of, like you talked about Desmond Bain signing a 5-year, $220 million. That was coming off a good run for them in the playoffs. He had 40+%.
There, you know what? For all his problems, I mean, if they wanted to do a deal, Joe, there's your guy.
But Desmond Bain?
John Morant.
Oh, John Morant. Yeah, he was talked about earlier in the chat.
3 first, Rui, Austin. Yeah. That's the guy, Joe.
Would you be interested?
That's the guy.
Trade, Joe.
I think if
him and his weapons.
I think if he was I would say if he was available, I think that he would go to the Knicks. I think the Knicks would make a deal.
Him and Brunson together?
Mm-hmm.
That's a small backcourt.
That's a tiny backcourt.
You're not winning anything there.
Plus what they'd have to give up to get John Morant. They'd have to give up OG.
To gut their team again, yep.
Yeah. I would say better. I mean, I'd say probably a more likely option or destination would be the Lakers. But like you said, the Lakers would have to give up all 3. And the Grizzlies would just have to want to be done with his antics. And I'm not sure they're done with his antics yet.
And Gerald, the Lakers and Memphis Grizzlies both made a big trade previously, and it kind of worked out for both franchises.
Mm-hmm, that's true. How about Dwight Howard? Turbo. Good Dwight God, Howard, man.
Is he still,
is everybody you suggest over the age of, do they all need to apply for Social Security with you before you go in and suggest them in the chat? You've suggested Clay, you've suggested Kevin Durant, and you suggested Dwight Howard.
Didn't he win MVP in the Taiwanese and then the Cantonese?
Yes, and he played in Puerto Rico, and he's got legal issues here in the States.
Yes, legal issues.
Yeah,
Dwight has legal issues, Gerald. That's the nice way of putting it.
Like Dwight Howard. Well, that's different. Like Dwight Howard.
Yes, over the rainbow, but, way up high.
And on that note, there'll be some big men out of the market.
You know what we're talking about.
Yes, I know what we're talking about. Now that will always be associated with Dwight Howard, I think, on the show for going forward.
Lighting.
Frank's so funny. And sign McGee too when he's waived from the Kings. Just like, again, the fascination with recreating. Frank, you're in our chat a lot. The fans' fascination.
Is this Frank or Frank?
Frank. Okay, I'm sorry. You always say Frank. Frank, the fascination that we always have with reviving 2020, and that we just want to bring everyone back, no matter how much older they are 4 years later, Sean, on this.
Yes. Yeah, that's our MO. That's
Yeah.
Rob Pelinka's MO. Sign a guy who's 4 years too late.
Yeah, that's true. It worked. It worked a little bit with all the veterans that you got for the 2020 run, but yeah, repeating success has not been something he's good at. But yeah, for me, the change has to start at the top, but unfortunately, it's not going to be the case. Rob Pelinka, I think, is safe. Let me ask this: even if Tim Conley opts out, because he does have the opt out, as been reported on in recent weeks. So even if Tim Conley, who has taken the Denver Nuggets to where they're at, and the Minnesota Timberwolves to where they're at, as he shined on the balloons there. Joe totally missed that. He did the balloons thing, Joe. So he missed it. But anyways, even if that's the case, so if Tim Conley makes himself available, Joe, you don't think the Lakers would be interested?
Tim Conley?
Tim Conley. Do you know who that is? He's the GM of the Minnesota Timberwolves, who last was the GM
Tim
of
Conley.
the Denver Nuggets.
I thought you were talking about a player. I'm like, what?
Franchises from 50 feet of crap into contenders.
The question is,
he has an opt out because of the current.
Where do you get these questions that they would hire a competent GM?
God, there you go. Shame on me for asking that if they ever hire a competent
has ever been affiliated with the Lakers. This is just waste of breath.
So common sense would elude them, is what you're saying. Yeah,
that's not gonna happen.
Okay.
And why would he leave? There's a chance they might be starting something here. It's the worst time to leave.
Oh, and the JJ Redick conversation. Yes. I mean, Joe, has that irritated you as of yet? But because JJ Redick, him and LeBron doing a podcast together, of course, that makes him viable for the next coach of the Lakers. He's already interviewed for a coaching job already in the league with Charlotte.
Why the hell would he want to coach Charlotte?
It's because it's a job.
Yeah, you got to get in the door somewhere, some way.
You got to be smart.
I just wouldn't pick that job. I mean,
you got to be smart like Steve Kerr was back in 2015.
No thanks to the Knicks. Hire Derek Fisher.
Frank, you see, I mean, that's what our chat is saying, Frank. I'm just reading the chat and I'm saying, get JJ, get JJ, get JJ.
We did this already, folks. Luke Walton was supposed to be the golden boy. No. Just get a goddamn coach that knows what he's doing. Not some guy who called Jerry West a bunch of plumbers. Come on.
And on that note,
well, he did get him back. Why am I listening to a guy who averaged 14 points for his career?
You're telling me that Jerry West wouldn't have busted his ass if they were playing in the same time?
Well, there's a great video. I'm not sure if you've seen it, Joe, but it plays the instrumental of Ether by Nas over what Jerry West is saying about JJ Redick.
Bite your tongue, Kurt. Bite your tongue. I know you're being facetious, but bite your tongue. We will not bring back Mitch Kupchak. Timofey Mozgov is not walking through that door.
No, we're not bringing back Doc Brown.
Luol Deng is not walking through that door. Bloodhound says we aren't winning at anything at this rate. Again, that's another question that should be, talked about here in the coming days and weeks. Is LeBron and AD still a championship combination? Some people say yes, and some people say no.
Eduardo's like, I want Iguodala. Yeah, let's bring in Iggy. Might as well throw his name into the hat as well.
Bloodhound Mitch is no longer with Charlotte. He had, because of the new ownership change, he has vacated his position. He's in his 70s anyway, so I think he's contemplating or has retired. I think they allowed him to gracefully bow out at the end of the season in regards to that. So yes.
Well, I think they gave him two choices, Gerald. You can resign or you can get fired. And Steve Clifford said, I can leave this place voluntarily. I'm out.
Haslam, I think, is working with the Heat in some capacity. I don't know
Haslam.
what capacity.
He's a Heat that
Bloodhounds
you don't. Yeah, I get it. I get it. He would be a great coach. That being said, he's a Heat guy. Udonis would never go. Like if Udonis took a job as a coach with the Lakers, Gerald, I don't think Pat Riley would speak to him for about a year.
Most likely not. Magic Man needs to wear his Moskov and Dang jerseys, Kurt says. So
I don't have one.
there's probably like 3 people on planet Earth that do. But, Jimbo Budenholzer, Ham is a disciple of Budenholzer. So would you really want more of what you have right now?
No to Bud. No to Bud. Normally I don't turn down a Bud when it's offered to me. I will turn down that Bud. No to Bud.
Budenholzer not an option for you either, Joe?
No, please. No. His stubbornness is in a lot of ways worse than Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham just doesn't know what he's doing, but Budenholzer knows how to coach, but he's stubborn. And I just you can't risk that.
No, you can't. But all this great speculation, again, it's great to have everyone here. It is the Lakers Fast Break. We'll be back on tomorrow for more great talk, more great thoughts. And if anything comes up in Laker news, Frank said, can Joe coach? That seems to be also a flowing theme, is putting you as...
I can coach young kids that listen, not grown men in the NBA. Hell no. I wouldn't last a week.
So Joe would be like Bill Russell was with the Kings. I'm trying to. LaSalle Thompson telling Bill Russell on the team bus that he can't call these guys bums, and Bill Russell gets up and he says, "I'm trying to trade him. I'm trying to trade him. Nobody wants him. And if you don't believe me, LaSalle, you can walk into the office. I will dial every GM's number, and you will hear that they don't want these bums." That would be Joe. That would be Joe.
Absolutely. But again, it is the
Bill
Lakers.
Russell once fell asleep at a practice that the Kings were having, and a couple of guys were making jokes about it. And when he woke up, he said, "Well, hell, if you guys were any damn good, I wouldn't have to fall asleep. You'd be at least interesting to watch." That's Joe. That would be Joe.
Okay. Do you expect Olympic game post-game shows? You know what, Eduardo? I think you'll get them. So we will go ahead and...
We are basketball fans.
Yes. That we are. Laker Tom for coach. No, he'll have a heart attack. Oh, no way. No. He'll be like pounding on that Coke so fast, so hard. He would just be like wired for like 10 minutes and then he'll just keel over from a heart attack. But that would be some undue pain for Laker Tom. Go ahead, Sean. I've got you on mute. Go ahead.
Tom would have to smoke like a wheelbarrow full of weed to get through a week of coaching in the NBA.
Jimbo says Sam Cassell or Terry Stotts. We're just reaching for them.
Well, to be a 2-point Geezus hasn't really gotten a shot yet, Joe. That's to be fair.
He's been all over the place as a lead assistant.
I think he'd be a great coach, just probably not with the Lakers. They wouldn't hire
didn't we
him.
go through this before with Darvin Ham? Who's, oh yeah, he's been a lead assistant all over the place for years. You wonder why he hasn't gotten the big job. Now we know why.
Well, to be fair, Gerald, Sam Cassell could ball, unlike Darvin Ham. 2-point Geezers could ball.
Okay.
You don't agree?
No, I'm just saying, don't you think it's kind of weird that Sam Cassell, after all these years as a lead assistant, not gotten a job yet? mirrors Darvin Ham in that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know the whole story. There's personality conflicts. Pat Ewing couldn't get a job. Gerald Kareem couldn't get a job.
Well, we saw Pat Ewing once he got a job.
Oh, yeah. Georgetown, we hardly knew you.
Well, again, it is the Lakers fast break. The speculation will continue on exactly everything that the Lakers can, will, might, and won't do. That's what we are here to talk about over the next few days, weeks, and months. I know that's a little bit sooner than everybody likes, but hey, we're still going to go ahead and fill up your time when we can. But Joe,
I could be the GM. I could be the GM.
Yeah, that's
I could be a GM for sure.
Yeah. There you go. Step up.
I hire Stone Hansen as my lead scout.
Fair enough. Absolutely. And then you guys can disagree like you did yesterday.
And to be fair,
why is that funny?
I didn't say it was funny. I'm just saying you guys literally disagreed on almost everything yesterday.
You guys disagreed yesterday.
Yeah. It'd be an interesting argument in the corporate room, in the boardroom.
We didn't disagree. He was just at one point, I had another.
Mm-hmm.
That's called a disagreement, but okay, Magic Man.
I just want to know what the hell did that look when you were saying it. You look like you were.
Because I've had a smirk thinking about the way you two would disagree with each other in the middle of a program.
Arguing.
Yes.
Gerald knows the end of that arrangement.
Yes, I know. He had a whole lot of F words and, you know.
When you work with people that are smart, that's what you want. You want someone to not tell you what you want to hear. You want to have someone that you can collaborate with. If you're going to sit there and have everybody massage your ass for everything you do, then you're not going to do well.
Okay. And on that note, Joe always has to put it so.
Joe's the poet laureate of Temecula.
That's one way to say it. But once again, it is the Lakers fast break. It is Magic Man Sean Grice and Joe Soro. Guys, do you have anything for our audience before we head on out?
No.
Okay. Sean?
Better days, Gerald. Better days ahead.
I hope so. I hope so. For this crowd and for us here at the Lakers fast break. But tune in. We've always got something to talk about. Frank, you've got a series clinching game coming up for you in Dallas. And I know that a lot of people here are going to be keeping an eye on what's going on in the playoffs, and we will as well.
Holy man, Mark Jackson wouldn't last a week in the hellscape of Los Angeles.
I think he's looking for a new job after he lost his old gig. But
yeah, don't look.
When does the Jeff Van Gundy rumor start?
Don't look to the mouth of hell.
When does the Jeff Van Gundy rumor start?
You know what, Gerald? If Jeff Van Gundy did get hired by the Lakers, there'll be a person, I'm not going to say who, dressed in all black, waiting outside the El Segundo practice facility with a crowbar, taking out his Achilles, Gerald. I'm not saying who that person is, but I'm just going to point at who would be. No to Jeff Van Gundy. No Van Gundys. No Jabba the Hutt Van Gundy. No Skinny Van Gundy. No Van Gundys.
Where are you pulling this BS out of, Gerald?
Because you just said Mark Jackson.
Why don't you just talk about Doug Moe now? Is Doug Moe going to come coach the Lakers?
They just said Mark Jackson. Who did the show? Who did the game?
Oh, no. Hold on. I got another one. How about Bobby Knight? Get him out of his corpse.
Shut up, Joe.
What is this? Jeff Van Gundy, really? What about Jeff Van Gundy?
Shut up.
What about Red Auerbach? Jesus Christ. Oh, it's much better.
Can we get some smelling salts? Maybe John is available. And I'm by myself.
What the hell did you do to my stream, Joe? You did something.
I did nothing, and you'll like it.
You did something. You messed up our entire stream. My God.
You messed it up with your Van
I wasn't even
Gundy
touching
crap.
anything.
Joe.
At least I knew who Tim Conley was.
Joe, stop David blaming the show.
I did nothing of the kind.
Baloney.
All right, and on that note, this is already
It's a lot of baloney, Joe. To quote
we don't even have Cool Bro here to go ahead and torment.
Yeah, because he's a fake.
Okay.
Notice how he got called out and he went away like a little gnat. I'm tired of that bullshit. Come on. AI girlfriend. What the kind of stupid conversation is this? You think I'm stupid?
All right. And on that note, it is the Lakers fast break. We will be back on tomorrow to talk even more NBA playoffs in the Los Angeles Lakers. Any rumors, innuendo, or anything like that, Jeff Van Gundy aside. Again, you guys said Mark Jackson.
Drinking Red Bulls and watching Scarface.
And don't forget the McDonald's and Taco Bell.
How can
that's our future, Joe? Those are the guys and gals that are going to be taking care of us when we get older.
How can you talk to girls when you're on the toilet for 5 hours a day with that diet?
I'm not going to be taken care of by anybody other than death.
Can't an AI learn to watch the Lakers? Well, maybe ask them to watch the Lakers fast break first, and tell them to like and subscribe, Kurt, while they're there.
I would love for AI capture to actually watch a Lakers game. That would be entertaining, Gerald. Actually, that would be entertaining.
I'm sure it can be programmed rather easily.
Let's talk about Bob Weiss as the coach of the Lakers.
Oh, dear God. All right. And on that note, it is the Lakers fast break. Want to go ahead and thank everybody for watching, listening. We'll be back.
Like, who the hell's Bob Weiss?
Yeah, now you're going back on the Wayback Machine. I will go ahead and
How about Nate McMillan?
Well, he just left. He just got fired. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. How many times do you want to fire a coach before you get the answer? It's not the right coach. All right.
Let's bring it, if we're going this route, let's just bring in 90-year-old Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
All right, Turbo.
Be entertaining.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us right here at the Lakers Fast Break.
You take care of yourself.
What's your old saying on your show?
Until next time.
We'll see you next time. Always sounds like caterpillars, like going over Joe's back when you do that, Sean.
Yes, it does.